just heard that speaking is re-speaking. If you're not a guest, then speaking is re-speaking. And here's Ken to do some re-speaking.
Have you ever been in a situation where you felt you should say something, but you didn't? You felt you should speak up, but maybe you thought, oh, they don't want to hear what I have to say. Or maybe you thought, I don't have anything to say. You didn't speak up because you felt somebody should ask you to speak up. Or you didn't speak up because you thought people would be looking at you. Do you know that feeling? You know that feeling? Well, today you'll hear a story where you might find out it's actually not all about you. And you'll see that perhaps there's another dimension to speaking up when the situation presents itself. Now, had you been at my son's bar mitzvah a number of years ago, you would have seen utter chaos taking place. Because his mom and I decided to have an unconventional bar mitzvah. It was at a Reform temple, which already is different than usual. We were completing the day with a Chinese banquet. For a bar mitzvah, you could tell is a little different. And those of you who are familiar with bar mitzvahs know it is a special day for a young man when he turns 13. The unconventional nature of this bar mitzvah made it rather chaotic, but still, before that day was taking place, I did have the sense to ask my dad to say something in honor of my son. Now, I knew the day's structure was going to be kind of informal, but I did want him to say something which was traditional. Now, my dad is a man roughly about my height, obviously older, but still has the facility to speak that he gave me, actually. But he liked to speak from written copy. So he said he'll prepare. He said, yeah, I'll prepare something. I'll have something to say that day. He said, no problem, Dad. But the day was utter chaos. We had the service in the morning, and then all of a sudden there was some bread cutting going on and prayers, and the next thing we were running off to a corner, and I was trying to get everybody comfortable and in place. And then it was time to go to the Chinese dinner, and I had explained to people why there was a Chinese dinner at a bar mitzvah, but I got everybody over there, and we got people seated, and I was getting them happy and fed and the whole business. And by the end of the day, after everybody had left, there was my father, my son, and my now ex-wife left, and I suddenly realized my dad hadn't had a chance to speak. I said, Dad, you didn't speak. I forgot to ask you. He said, yeah, I know. I said, well, why didn't you say something? Why didn't you remind me? He didn't say a word. Now, maybe he didn't remind me because in his head he was thinking the things many of you think. Oh, I really have nothing to say. Or maybe he didn't say anything to me because he thought, oh, he doesn't really want me to say something. I don't know. Maybe he was thinking, I don't want people to look at me. I'm not dressed well enough. I don't know what he was thinking. But whatever the reason was, he didn't speak up. And when I asked him, why didn't you say something? I could see that he was pained that he hadn't said something. He was upset with himself that he hadn't reminded me and that he hadn't spoken. But more importantly than that, by his not reminding me, he missed an opportunity to say something to his grandson on a special day. He missed an opportunity to say something to me about my son and our line, father, father, son. He didn't think of the people who had to hear what he had to say. I don't know what he was thinking of, but whatever was going on in his mind, he didn't say, Ken, I want to say something. So the next time you feel that feeling where, I don't want to speak, I'm afraid, or you feel like people will be looking at you, or you feel, I have nothing to say, think of the people who need to hear what you have to say. Think of the people who want to hear what you have to say. Think of the people who are just waiting for you to speak. So when you get afraid, and you get shy, push it aside and just